Madam Clerk?
Hang on, I just lost all my papers.
Sorry.
It's okay. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, NJSA 10:4-6 et sec, notice of which was sent to the record in the Star Ledger and was posted on the municipal bulletin board.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Here.
Councilman Battaglia.
Here.
Mayor LaBrus.
Here. Would everybody please rise for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay.
Close the meeting?
I have two proclamations I'd like to read. And the first one is, it is a Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And it reads, whereas breast cancer affects hundreds of thousands of women and thousands of men annually, and whereas breast cancer is typically detected either during a screening examination, before symptoms have developed, or after symptoms have developed when a man or woman feels a lump. And whereas breast cancer is about 100 times more common in women than men, and women are at an increased risk as they get older, and whereas breast cancer is often hereditary in individuals whose family history puts them at increased risk for breast cancer, should discuss with their doctor or qualified health professional the proper prevention and early diagnosis strategies. Whereas, since the early 1990s, the pink ribbon handed out and spread by the Susan G. Komen Foundation has been the symbol for the fight against breast cancer, and whereas October is Breast Cancer Month, an opportunity to increase awareness of the disease and to encourage individuals to have a plan to detect the disease in its early stages. And whereas it is vital that those affected by cancer have access to quality, affordable care, and that research of all forms of breast cancer continue to be vigorously supported. Now, therefore, I, John P. LaBrosse Jr., Mayor of the City of Hackensack, along with the members of the City Council, do hereby recognize the month of October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the City of Hackensack. There's probably not too many people who do not know somebody who's been affected by breast cancer, and I know several of my friends. And early detection is very important, so I recommend to both men and women to pay attention and go for your testing and check yourself for lumps. It's very important. And the second proclamation is Judah De Oliveira here.
Sir.
There you are. Could you come on up, please? Okay, and this young man is getting a proclamation from the City of Hackensack as well, and it reads, whereas Judah De Oliveira is to be commended for his quick thinking in response to a New Jersey state trooper who was being assaulted during a motor vehicle stop. And whereas on September 14, 2019, Judah De Oliveira, H-Cop Class 1 Special Officer at Hackensack Police Department, while driving to work on Route 80 East, observed a New Jersey state trooper on the ground and being assaulted by two individuals. And whereas Judah stopped his personal vehicle and jumped into action along with retired New York City police officer Alfred Jackson to assist the trooper who suffered serious injuries due to the assault. And whereas Judy De Oliveira and Alfred Jackson were instrumental in the arrest and bringing this criminal act to a swift conclusion and possibly saving the trooper's life, now therefore I, John P. LaBrosse Jr., Mayor of the City of Hackensack, along with members of the City Council, do hereby recognize Special Officer Judah De Oliveira for his quick thinking, bravery, and devotion to duty. Congratulations, sir. Takes a certain person to, number one, see something like that while you're driving a car and pick up on it right away that there's an assault taking place, and to stop and get out and risk your own life, because this young man and the other gentleman had no idea these guys could have been armed. They could have been carrying knives, had weapons, and thank God they stopped and did this.
his mother and stepfather.
Congratulations. You've done a great job. Sure, absolutely. The one who's come on this side. We'll balance it out.
No, they need to be in the middle of the.
Move out, move
They're
out.
always
Move out,
off
move out.
center. It just.
Keep going. Keep going.
Kathy, now you'll be out the window soon.
You just want me out of the picture.
Let's put tape on the floor.
In the middle of the
Sorry.
Thank you.
Oh, you're skinny, Steph. Okay. And with that, I need a motion for the approval of the minutes. Was everybody here for both these meetings?
Everybody was here for both.
Everybody was here for the cow and regular minutes of September 10th, 2019, and the cow and regular minutes of September 24th, 2019.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed? And with that, we'll go right to the manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor.
Excuse me.
Mayor and Council, this is the city manager's report for October 15, 2019. First is, we're pleased to be advised that the 2-day-a-week garbage collection will continue through 2020 calendar year. The Main Street conversion to two-way traffic between Sussex Street and North Atlantic Street began Monday, October 14th. Please be alert and be cautious when driving. It's a new traffic pattern. Obviously, to come down Atlantic and make a right is a very different thought process for all these years that it's been opposite, but we've guided through State Street conversion, and we will continue to section through this. The other thing that this also opens, and I want to just discuss quickly, is we're starting to put in tandem parking on Main Street, which allows cars to pull in, and there's a white hash mark that you can pull in and back up into a parking spot. This will prevent people from blocking a lane to back into a parking spot. So the city is working on making these improvements progressively as each part of the Main Street conversion goes through. There'll be some comments, I'm sure, of council members when I finish my report, but the city is working and doing its due diligence to make sure that when we finally make the total transformation of the two-way conversion, that all of the parts and pieces needed to make this a successful transformation will be in place. October 4th, the Environmental Commission accepted an award on behalf of the city community gardens. This award was recognized by the efforts of the city, of the Environmental Commission, making the area of Johnson Park dedicated to our community garden, which by all accounts has been very successful. Number 4, the city will be hosting a Slam Dunk the Junk, I'll get that straight one of these years, event on October 26th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Please refer to the hackensack.org for more details. Please be advised the Teterboro Noise Abatement Office will be hosting a meeting on October 30th to provide an update on the runway 19 offset approach. This is, I'm sure, Deputy Mayor Catastrino will make some comments because she's our liaison and attends these meetings. The meeting will take place at 90 Moonachie Ave, Teterboro, New Jersey. Please refer to the hackensack.org details. Building Department updates. 100 notices written, 67 inspections made, 10 summonses issued, 21 CCOs done, 23 Oprah requests fulfilled. Finally, the update our food truck ordinance. Currently, the city does not allow food trucks / mobile vendors to operate unless all food is prepackaged. Our goal is to introduce a revised ordinance to allow food trucks with open food on a limited basis. Until such date, we're pleased to follow my revised executive order. Until the ordinance is passed, the city manager will be responsible for reviewing and approving all mobile vendors, food trucks with open food applications. So we're not preventing the process of it. I'm just trying to refine the process of it and find the time to finish this. So if there's a food truck request, they'll file it with the city manager's office and we'll guide them through the process. This will complete the city manager's report.
Thank you. We'll start regular business now. Resolution 437-19.
This is a resolution for the final adoption of ordinance number 46-2019, an ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 119 of the Code of the City of Hackensack, Public Consumption of Alcoholic Beverages, to clarify certain language.
Need a, need a motion open to the public?
Yeah.
Motion to open to the public?
Offer.
Need a second? Need a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. None opposed? Anybody from the public who'd like to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no one from the public, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Motion to adopt the ordinance.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed?
Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 46-2019 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 438-19.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 47-2019, an ordinance to amend Chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Vehicles and Traffic to remove a handicap parking space from Section 49.2, parking for the handicapped at 82 Reland Avenue. Need a motion?
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed?
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 47-2019 is introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on October 29th, 2019, at 8:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for passage.
Need a motion? I'm sorry. Resolution 439-19.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 48-2019, an ordinance to amend Chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Vehicles and Traffic to adjust the period of approved time limit parking on a portion of Main Street in Section 170-53 time limit parking.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed?
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 48-2019 is introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on October 29th, 2019 at 8:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for passage.
Thank you. Resolution 440-19.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 49-2019, an ordinance to amend Chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Vehicles and Traffic to add a new handicap parking space in Section 49.2, parking for the handicapped on Clay Street.
Need a motion, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed?
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 49-2019 is introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on October 29th, 2019 at 8:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law, with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 441-19.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 50-2019, a bond ordinance providing for the city's Main Street Combined Sewer Separation Project by and in the city of Hackensack in the county of Bergen, state of New Jersey, appropriating $6,500,000 in bonds or notes of the city to finance part of the cost thereof.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed?
Be resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 50-2019 is introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance should be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on October 29th, 2019 at 8:00 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the city council. And at such time and place, all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law, with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 442-19.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 51-2019, an ordinance to amend Chapter 175 of the City of Hackensack zoning with respect to certain zoning classifications for various places of assembly and confirming certain parking, area, bulk, and yard restrictions for various places of assembly.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed?
And before she reads this, because this is a zoning ordinance, we are going to send it to the planning board for their review and comments. So the expectation is there's a planning board meeting on, I believe, November 6th. So assume,
There's one tomorrow also.
yeah, but this was it was just too soon to put this on tomorrow's agenda. I spoke to the planning board attorney. So the understanding is they're aware of it. It will hopefully be heard at the planning board meeting on November 6th. Provided that's the case, then we would be potentially in a position to adopt on November 12th. That's why it will not be at the next meeting.
Okay.
Be resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 51-2019 as introduced is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on November 12th, 2019 at 8:00 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the city council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law, with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 443-19.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 52-2019, an ordinance to authorize the grant of an easement to the Hackensack University Medical Center for an encroachment on the city's right-of-way along 2nd Street.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
All in favor?
I think we should do a voice vote on
They
this.
do a voice vote. Roll call. Go ahead.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia. Mayor LaBrus.
I abstain.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 52-2019 as introduced is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on October 29th, 2019 at 8:00 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the city council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law, with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 444-19.
This is a resolution awarding bid contract for maintenance and repair of heating, ventilation, and air conditioning (HVAC) systems for the city of Hackensack.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 445-19.
This is a resolution authorizing change order number 2 to Suburban Consulting Engineers, Inc., contract for M&M, which is the Recreation Center, building for technology improvements.
Need a motion?
Second.
Second by Ms. Von Rudenberg. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Resolution 446-19.
This is a resolution authorizing award of contract for engineering services for Main Street streetscape improvements to Suburban Consulting Engineers.
Need a motion?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Resolution 447-19.
A resolution authorizing award of contract for professional planning services, Banter Place preliminary redevelopment investigation to DMR Architects.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Resolution 448-19.
It's a resolution authorizing the release of a performance bond for 480 Main Street, which was Aldi's.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. We're pulling 449-19. So 450-19.
This is a resolution authorizing tax refund for duplicate payments, overpayments, and paid in error.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're pulling 451-19 and 452-19, so the next one is 453-19.
This is a resolution authorizing tax collector to convert below charges to property liens as per NJSA 40:48-2.14.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Resolution 454-19.
A resolution accepting redevelopers' contribution and authorizing First Amendment to redevelopment agreement with Hackensack Jefferson Urban Renewal LLC.
Need a motion?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Resolution 455-19.
A resolution extending conditional redeveloper designation of Anderson Street Station Urban Renewal LLC as the redeveloper of the Anderson Street redevelopment area.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Resolution 456-19, payment of bills.
Resolution authorizing payment of bills.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Does anybody have any conflicts on the consent agenda, which is rather large? It's mostly professionals.
Okay.
So we're just going to keep the resolution for the turns. Okay, that's going to be by resolution only. Okay. Okay, motion to read the consent agenda.
The following items are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted in one motion. Any items require expenditure are supported by certification of availability of funds. Any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda, and the consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes, including any exceptions and/or additions. The consent agenda consists of resolutions 457-19 through 469-19. 457-19 is a resolution authorizing endorsement of proposed Bergen County Community Development Grants 2020 for Boys and Girls Clubs of Lodi and Hackensack. Resolution 458-19 is a resolution authorizing the award of professional service agreement to Wisborgi PC as labor attorney. Resolution 459-19 is a resolution authorizing the award of professional service agreement to the Gray Law Firm as public defender. Resolution 460-19 is a resolution authorizing the award of professional service agreement to Inglesino Webster, not sure, et al. LLC as tax appeal attorney. I'm very bad with those kind of names.
Good, close enough.
So if I could say et al. To everything, I would. Resolution 461-19 is a resolution authorizing the award of professional service agreement to Neglia Engineer as general engineer. Resolution 462-19 is a resolution authorizing the award of professional service agreement to Inglesio Webster et al. And Taylor LLC as redevelopment counsel. Resolution 463-19 is a resolution authorizing the award of professional service agreement to Kaufman, Semeraro, and Liebman as redevelopment counsel. Resolution 464-19 is a resolution authorizing the award of professional service agreement to Kaufman, Semeraro, and Liebman as special litigation counsel. 465-19 is a resolution authorizing award of professional service agreement to Inglesino Webster et al. LLC as special litigation counsel. Resolution 466-19 is a resolution authorizing the award of professional service agreement to Post Pollock as special litigation counsel. 467-19 is a resolution authorizing the award of professional service agreement to Arcadis US Inc. as engineer. Resolution 468-19 is a resolution authorizing the award of professional service agreement to Dean Marco and DeMarco as public defender. And Resolution 469-19 is a resolution temporarily prohibiting making left turns from westbound Fairmount Avenue onto southbound Grand Avenue when children are being dropped off at Fairmount School. We need a motion.
Okay, need a motion to take the consent agenda as it was read.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed. Okay, with that, I need a motion to open to the public, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed. Anybody from the public would like to speak, please come to the podium and give your name to the clerk. Going once. Going twice. Usually you're chomping at the bit, Mr. Several, come on.
Nobody wants to come?
There's no one here, and I wonder why. I do. Yeah. All right.
You're doing such a great job.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
What's that?
it's a Snickers bar. Maybe you'll feel better. The last time, I didn't feel so good the last time you were here, so.
That's a
No mas,
commercial.
I just wanted you to know.
I didn't?
You did a lot of complaining, so I just wanted you to have that candy bar. Maybe it'll sweeten it up a
Thank
little
you.
bit.
It's like that commercial, that was pretty good, Ted.
It's Halloween season, and
No comments.
thanks for your Halloween treat.
Oh, no, Halloween had nothing, just,
Okay.
you admitted that you were a little off last meeting. so
Okay.
pick you up a little.
Gotta keep the blood sugar up.
I was cranky. Yeah.
Yeah, crank.
Don't start the clock until
Everyone's
this
entitled.
is
I
done.
haven't yet, I was
Okay.
waiting for his name.
All right.
On your mark, get set, go. You're on.
I'm Richard Servo.
Richard Servo.
From 46 Spring Valley Ave in Hackensack. Just a couple things I want to get started on. Is this whole leave, this thing with the leaves, okay? And I know this year is sort of the last year that we can put leaves in the street, Mr. City Manager. I know you want them all bagged up, and so they don't go into the catch basins and things like that. But that's more work for us, okay? So it's more work for the homeowners to actually bag up all those leaves. That's not a small job, especially if they're all over the place. I mean, so I'm just bringing it up, and I know next year it's mandatory, so we'll be here to squawk about it next year. How's that? Okay? Thanks. Okay. I was just.
Do you want me to unwrap that candy bar for you?
No. It's okay. It's. I like to put it in the microwave if you don't mind. I like to melt it a little.
The reason why we're making this change
Stop the
is one,
clock.
it's
he's-
recommended DEP, and second, we get constant complaints about flooding. So
Okay.
without putting these leaves into the storm drains, backs up the pipes, and then we have to clean them out. And I see Carol Davis looking at me, that we make these complaints, so I can't be all things to all people. I clearly understand that bagging leaves is much more work and a hardship for some.
It's lots of work. It's
I'm aware.
tens and tens of bags. I mean, the leaves will
Understand.
fall as late as Thanksgiving. Okay, so it's a
Understand.
lot of leaves. Okay, all right. So that's for a second. I wanted to thank our councilwoman. Stephanie, for just mentioning that the USTA will assist us in helping to, refurbish our tennis courts, which are awful. That you can't even play on them. Okay, remember what I'm saying. It's not like, oh, if they look okay, you can play on them. No. You can't play on them. Go look close. You can't play on them. Maybe you could play on them, with a kid and a rubber ball or something. I don't know, but you can't. And so thank you, Councilwoman. And but what would be fantastic would be to have indoor courts here in our town. I know there's Bogota, there's Maywood, there's every other town has them but us. And so thanks for fixing the outdoor courts. Next year I can play here instead of going to Paramus. Okay, so thanks a lot. Okay, other things I have on my mind are, I was reading about the development today, and it's interesting how much development is going on, and it's not only here, okay? So I've emphasized in the past that possibly maybe we should have a better plan for this development. Oh, jeez, here's the beeper, okay? Okay, what I'm saying is that there's so much going on. All the towns around us are doing this. I think it's going to take away from any kind of suburban living here, okay? And it's going to be, as they used to call it, a race to the bottom. We're all racing to, spruce up our towns. And I think it's gone too far, okay, John? So, please, all right?
Thank you, sir. I will, before you start, Mrs. Salvo, I will make a comment that we have, I think it's a great plan, the rehab plan, but it's designated in an area that needed it, and we're not infringing on residential areas, single-family homes, none of that. This was a downtown, which was going to be a downtown anyway, okay? But it was a failing downtown, and now it will be a thriving downtown. Mrs. Salvo,
Okay, good evening. You have a candy bar for me?
No,
you haven't been here.
you'd have to be really good to earn.
Lucky he doesn't have cookies.
I just asked. All right, don't start the clock yet. Okay, a few things hope you guys didn't miss me. I've been gone for a couple of weeks. Anyway, this tennis grant is great. I wish we had something for the two basketball courts that I've been complaining about, mainly the Columbus Park one and the Second Ward Park one by Polify, because those tennis courts have been bad for the last 10 years and the kids can't play on them. Keeping with that, are we doing this calendar again and then we're going to change it after it's printed? Because we did that last year. It just happens, we do it, we finalize it, and then it's just like the streets. You pave the streets and then a month later you tear them up. So, and then
3 days later.
Yeah, no, really, it always happens, and we notify everybody. It just happens. It's Murphy's Law. I'm going to bring a postcard, and I'm going to show Joe and Glima who the powers that be. A lot of the towns have postcards, and they have the exact day and date when you put it out, because you say every other week, so you can't remember what you put out last week if you put out the bottles or the cardboard. So this way, it tells you October 19th we put out the cardboard. October, like a week from there.
We're going back to once a week pickup for the.
No, I'm talking about the recycles. Are you going to
Yeah,
do them once a
going
week?
back to once
Oh,
a
yeah,
week.
because it's unreal,
didn't
especially
work
the
out.
first ward. We have too many, so it didn't work. Okay, I didn't know it was going to work.
I tried.
Times a week garbage.
At the
oh, wow.
recommendation of our DPW, because they were
Thank
trying
you.
to
All right,
make things
we
better.
knew, well, that's good. It's a good way to find out. Also, the leaf pickup, you have to do something for us because a lot of people can't pick up the leaves. I mean, it's part of our taxes. It did work. We used to have a leaf pickup thing that we did from November back when, who was here? I forgot, but we had it. And the last one being after Thanksgiving, and it did work. If they're picked up when they said it is, the people put them in the street then, and it's picked up. It's when they stay there and they're not picked up when they say they're going to pick them up, then and it rains and it goes into the catch basins. The food truck thing. When we said, or John wanted the breweries to be there, and they are, the two of them that we have are in isolated areas. They need to have food. You can't drink and not eat. And they are no whatsoever in competition with anybody because they're in isolated areas. So these food trucks that have people that follow them, and they park on the premises, and you go in, you eat the food, and you know when they come in, it's good for business. The problem that they had is the food trucks that were in competition with the people who were paying taxes on Main Street. And that's really a smack in the face against the business owners to have them at the Green. Maybe if you want to have a Johnson Park, but not at the Green, because you have people on Main Street that are paying taxes for their store, and then they have a food truck that you're in competition with during the time that they're open. So that's the ones that should be eliminated. But the ones for the breweries, you can't just drink and not eat. So that's good that you're doing it on a one-to-one basis rather than making it to generalize it. Because the two places that I visited, Alaska and Montana, everybody had a brewery, had a food store next door. The food has to go with the drinking. Otherwise, you get drunk.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
3 meetings, if you come consistently, you get a candy bar.
I
You haven't been here in 3 meetings.
get the whole case.
I have, if I've missed 3 meetings in the last, whatever, anyway. And what's wrong with getting drunk? Anyway. Regina De Pasqua. On leaves, I forgot to mention this before. The landscaper who does across the street left a huge pile of leaves 2 weeks ago. And I contacted the city, basically asking when are leaves starting, and all I got back is we start picking them up at the end of October. And I'm like, well, this pile is going to sit there, and it's on the same side of the street as a drain, storm drain, and tomorrow, all those leaves are going to be in that storm drain.
Correct.
But people are allowed to put them out before pickup time?
It's already, leaf season started October 5th. They are starting to pick it up. We're asking residents to bag leaves. Unfortunately, this has not been completely communicated to one, landscapers, and two, residents, because we just do what we like to do here.
Don't be facetious with me, but I was told October 24th is when leaf pickup starts.
I have different information. But
I was
can-
told by sanitation and what's on the website, October 24th. It's always been the end of October, okay? Never been the beginning of October.
Well, they-
But meanwhile, I have a pile of leaves on my block for 2 weeks. Nobody's picked it up,
Well, let's-
even though I have let the city know it's there.
Can we, now that we
Okay.
know that they're there, can we please try to get them out of
I
there tomorrow?
I let the city
before it
know the
rains too
day
hard?
they were there. They're gonna be in the storm drain tomorrow. Are we doing
Twisting
anything?
our arms works better than twisting theirs.
Are we doing anything with 78 Central over there? Building we own?
Small house across the street that's been doing nothing forever. It's probably
There has
storage.
been interest of someone to purchase it. There's been interest of using it for another purpose. We have not come to clarity of what we're gonna do, but it will not remain on the inventory for the city of Hackensack.
Okay, because I thought that would be an ideal place for the building department since they have to get out of down there.
Kind of small,
Oh,
way too, so just storage. They could even store their files in there. It's,
Well, that's what they have right across the street here for storage. You know, there's a whole room on the corner right there. But anyway, all right, I just want to, the quote of the week from Steve Loacano, former city manager of the city of Hackensack, who is now in North Arlington. Ratables aren't all gravy. Just, if you read the article, you know what it means, but it's the quote of the week. If he was here, ratables aren't all gravy.
okay, anybody else from the public like to speak? Seeing none, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? We can, we are going back into closed session. We will come back out and announce in front of the
Do you want to
camera.
have your
Have our comment now.
comment?
Oh, or comments, sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, real quick. Good evening, everyone. Just some good news. The public library has finally started their Friends of the Library area, their fundraising efforts. So I know they're waiting to register to get their proper documentation. So they're going to have a Friends of the Library to try to raise some funds. So that's good news for them. Bernadette from the Shade Tree Committee was here earlier at the COW and said that they're still looking for members. If anyone's interested, reach out to the city. On October 4th, the Hackensack Environmental Committee received an achievement award. There's only 8 awards given out throughout the whole state, so this is a pretty big deal for the community garden, and that was through an ANJAC organization. Slam Dunk the Junk is coming up on the 26th. I know we have some new registrations, different groups, so that's exciting to have more of a commitment. And following along with the breast cancer awareness proclamation, Nellie K. Parker, their student government, is running a campaign where you can buy shirts to raise funds for their student government. So there's some flyers over there that was left. Congrats to Judah D'Oliveria and to Mr. D'Arminio and Mr. Californio. They were honored at the Columbus Day celebration this past Saturday, and it was nice to hear them tell some stories about Hackensack and when they ran baseball and everything here. So it was nice to see them get that honor. And last but not least, Clinton Place is open for Halloween. Every year there seems to be less houses that decorate, but this year we actually have a little bit more. There's some new houses that have never decorated before that are decorating, and some houses that haven't decorated in a while that are decorating. And just to be aware of all the little kids, we've had a lot of traffic on the block, so just be careful when driving up. Have a good night.
Okay, thanks, Steph. Again, big congratulations to the Environmental Committee for receiving that award for our community garden. And a special thanks to Councilwoman Stephanie von Rudenborg, because she certainly was the one that initiated and was a big part of that. And, it's not easy sometimes starting new things in town, and you put a lot into it, and we really appreciate it. So thanks to Stephanie as well. The proclamation today to our HCOP Judah De La Vieria, who stopped and helped an officer in need. Wonderful tribute to him, to his family, and to the city of Hackensack. Fine young man, and happy to see, and so much thanks to him for stepping in and doing the right thing. A couple of things that have been going on here in town. The Alliance had their food truck and brewery event. It was a little bit cold that Saturday, to say the least. I think maybe next year, if we're going to do it that time of the year, we may want to get some heaters or some way to warm it up a bit, because I think folks were a little bit uncomfortable. But October weather is always a little unpredictable. But it looked like there was a nice turnout and people were having fun. And again, it incorporated not only the food trucks, but the breweries in town, and some breweries locally out of town as well were there. Columbus Day, Unico always does a nice event in Columbus Park. Most of us were there, and again, it was a wonderful tribute to the two gentlemen who, also were outstanding war veterans, and spoke of their service and fondly of the years then and beyond. So it was really nice to see that tribute to both of them as well. I participated today in a Crime Stopper event. The Crime Stoppers are looking to expand. They're adding more and more towns. For those of you that don't know, Crime Stoppers is a way to report criminal activity in a anonymous way. And sometimes when these tips or these responses actually affirm or substantiate a reasonable event to dealing with that crime, there's a financial reward that may or may not be attached to it. Some of the other towns are doing a better job of it than we are, and I think we spoke about this a little at the committee of the whole. I think we have to do a better job of, see something, say something. We talked about maybe adding it to our digital sign, putting the Crime Stopper phone number, and reminding people that if you see something, report it. Let's all work together with our police department and contribute to making this, again, it's a very safe town right now, and let's keep it that way. Another thing, I know Stephanie talked about Clinton Place. I know Crime Stoppers will be there too, and it's one of their ways that they raise money. And so if you're there and you see them, stop to say hello, and a small contribution. There's not a lot of ways that these folks raise money, so I think it's important. And one of the things that we also talked about is looking at ways to again have a better relationship from the community into our police department, and hoping to hear some good ideas and maybe some suggestions of things that we can move forward with, some events involving the community and working together. So we hope to be talking more about that going forward in the future. Ted mentioned a couple of things in his manager report. One, was the opening of the two-way street conversion. And again, everyone, please be careful. But, from Atlantic Street to Essex is now two ways officially. So yes, it feels a little strange making that right turn, but, it's a step in the right direction. So that is, the second phase of opening and making Main Street two ways. Now we'll be working and proceeding up to Mercer. So the next event you'll be hearing about is Mercer to Essex will be two ways. And then we'll, move forward Salem. So we're doing this in pieces. Folks will get used to it. And it's part of the plan of making the sewer conversion work, while at the same time, we're doing the sewer work necessary to satisfy the complaints of the DPA, the DEP, I'm sorry, and to also help alleviate some of the flooding that we see, not only there, but on River Street and some of the cross streets as well. As part of this two-way conversion, we've done many things, and I remember when Main Street was two ways. I guess I'm aging myself, but I certainly do, and it was a Sydney, I see nods. It certainly was a fine two ways, but some folks did have some concerns. we've already removed buses. We did this like a year ago, so there's no longer buses. So what we're doing is we're trying to remove any potential obstacle that could cause an issue. One of the big problems we have on Main Street, since it's been one way, and we're gonna ask people to please be mindful to stop doing this, is folks love to double park. You know, they think it's one way, and there can be a parking, I've been on Main Street, and there could be a parking spot 10 feet in front of where they are, and folks will still just double park and just get out of their car and leave it in the middle of the street. So, now that it's gonna be two ways, you really, you shouldn't have been doing it before, but you really can't do it. So we want folks to get used to the fact that we can't be double parking on Main Street. The other thing we did to also make it a smoother transition and a better quality of life for traveling on Main Street is add something called tandem parking. Now, if you're not familiar with tandem parking, it's something that Westwood has done on their Main Street, so you'll see it there. So what normally, if you look at a normal street, or what we had before with parallel parking, a normal parking space is anywhere from 22 to 24, 25 feet. That's what a normal parking spot is. So now, instead of that, what you're seeing is a 20-foot parking spot and then an 8-foot hatched area. So you'll see it with hatch mark lines in it, and then another 20-foot parking spot. So what that enables you to do is that 8 feet now between those two 20-foot parking spaces, kind of like a shared area. So you won't have difficulty or trouble. You shouldn't have to truly parallel park because you have this additional 8 feet. So it should enable people to, if not move in, depending on the size of your car, if not directly pull in, to at least back up in one attempt, so that we're not impeding traffic, and we're making it easier to park on Main Street, and certainly making it easier to not impede that flow of traffic now that it will be going two ways. Another thing, last thing on my list to mention is Ted mentioned the FAA meeting. Everyone knows that I represent the city at the Teterboro Air and Noise Abatement Committee meetings at Teterboro Airport. And we've been aggressively pursuing as a city this alternate flight path to have the aircrafts now follow Route 17 in decent weather, and to avoid traveling so close to the properties that are on Prospect, to the hospital, to the Fannie Hiller School. And, it's something that everyone in the city has been very supportive of. The meeting this month is October 30th at 7 p.m. and it's at Teterboro Airport on Moonachie Ave. We are supposedly getting an update from the FAA on where they are with the environmental testing. Now, again, I'm crossing my fingers because I've already been disappointed when I was told they were coming and then something happens and they don't come, but they're supposed to be giving an update. And they're also supposed to start now inviting what they consider potential other towns that may be impacted by this change. So if you're interested and you have time, I think it would be a worthwhile investment to have some of our Hackensack people come and attend that meeting, not only to hear about where we are with the environmental testing, but perhaps to hear if there are any concerns from any other communities. They're telling us that in December, they're going to set up a meeting and they're going to be looking for feedback. This meeting, supposedly, we're just there to listen, but the December meeting is supposed to get feedback from other communities as well as ours. And I think that we have a lot of voices here, and that when I know the date of that December meeting, I'll make sure and advise you. But I will be there on the 30th, and anyone that wants to come and hear and learn, please feel free to come and attend. Thanks everyone for coming, and have a good night.
David?
As was mentioned earlier, Atlantic Street heading south towards Essex Street is now two-way. It's part of the city's plans, and as was mentioned, this was phase 2. Just be cautious as you drive down Main Street going toward Essex Street. The street fair a couple of weeks ago was another great event. Many people came out, especially the food trucks, and Hackensack, I guess, favorite band, Filet of Soul performed. Saturday, October 26th, Mount Olive Baptist Church is having a retirement celebration for Reverend Jackson at the Venetian from 12 to 4. Tickets are $150. You can pick them, purchase them at the church. Sunday, October 27th at 1:30 in Johnson Park. All the gardeners from this year is going to have a gathering of some of the crops that we've grown. We're going to have some apple cider and donuts and just talk about next year's plans. Lastly, to my dad up in heaven, congratulations to the Jets on beating the heavily favored Dallas Cowboys last Sunday.
Amazing what a
Good
quarterback
night.
will do.
Thank you for coming out.
Congratulations again to HCAP de Lovera for practical saving the life of this state trooper in Route 80. I read the article in September when that happened. Our paving program continued. We just finished Clinton, Maple, and the leader entered to Johnson Park was done today. We had to continue with the problems on the sidewalk because we had to enforce the rule. The sign they there about the people stealing the bicycles. And now you got the electric scooters, and you got some people, they even got the electric bikes. And the top of that, they are in the phones. So one of these days, we're gonna have something better. Related to the lift, I don't know what it's gonna be with these landscaping people that they really clean, for instance, a house in Summer Avenue, that's a big house. They charge maybe the person for the cleanup, and they throw all the leaves right in the streets. And not only in Summer Avenue, it's all over. So we had to do something with that. The parking in Fairmont Avenue, the people, they go to pick up the kids, they do the double parking. And at the top of that, they leave the car unattended, half a block from the school to pick up the kids. If somebody don't believe me, I got the pictures. So the only way is the police have to enforce it, and they have to give tickets. Because sometimes people that are going east, they made the third lane, and the top of that now, the kids are crossing between cars. We've been lucky so far, and I got pictures of the kid crossing between the lanes. And the other thing is we have to improve the lighting in the city. I've been talking about that for a long time. And the residents, they have to be aware when they walking, running or something at night, they should be use something reflective. Because you don't see, when you're gonna make a turn or whatever and somebody's crossing, you don't see them. So please be careful. Thank you for coming.
Okay. I also want to congratulate Judah de Oliveira for his heroic act. I'm sure he's going to make a fine police officer someday. Dave and Kathy and others mentioned the Slam Dunk to Junk on the 26th. As was mentioned in the proclamation, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but make sure you go out and get your exams and tests and make sure you get checked on that, especially as you get older. Deputy Mayor Canestrino talked about Crime Stoppers. I was trying to make that lunch today, but unfortunately I got hit with a meeting and couldn't get over there. This past Saturday was a very, very special day in Hackensack. Unico gave out their Christopher Columbus Distinguished Citizen Award. They had two people receiving awards this year. We gave two proclamations. One was to Lee Dorminio, and the other was Joe Polifronio. But I just want to read you a little bit about their bio, if I may, because it's pretty astounding. So, Lee Dorminio has been around. Most people lived in Hackensack for a while know the Dorminio name. Mr. Dorminio was born in Hackensack. He attended Hackensack schools. He's a charter member of the Trost Athletic Club, which is itself almost 80 years old. He helped form Baseball of Hackensack. He served on the Youth Guidance Council, ran the Broadway School night gym, and ushered at his neighborhood church, which is all great things for a citizen to do. But the great thing that this man did was he was drafted into the U.S. Army in 1943. After medic training, he landed on Omaha Beach on D-Day +1, because while waiting for the boats to return, none did. He was awarded the Purple Heart, the Bronze Star, and Silver Star for his service. Following his discharge, he married and raised 4 children here in Hackensack. His adult life was spent in the family construction firm of Dorminio and Sons until he retired in 1987. Joseph Polifronio was born in Hackensack, lifelong Hackensack resident. He worked in the printing and engraving business. He also raised a family of 4. Now, Joe and Lee are friends, even though Lee's got him by about 5 years. I won't give you Lee's age because he'd probably beat me up. But he was drafted into the U.S. Marine Corps during the Korean conflict or war, and he was severely wounded. He was shot by a sniper, and he was lucky enough to, because when they got him down to where he, where it was safe, they said, we got to get him out of here, he ain't going to make it. Well, he was lucky enough, they brought in a helicopter, and they got him to a MASH unit, and they saved his life. He's been awarded the Korean Service Medal Award, the United Nations Medal, and the Purple Heart. And he continues to work to this day. So it was a great day honoring those people. And truly an honor to give proclamations to 2 Hackensack hometown heroes back from the First Ward. It is a rarity to have 2 citizens who served in World War II and the Korean War still with us and very active, and who were both highly decorated. So that was a great honor for us. The street fair was our first attempt at this with the Main Street Alliance. It worked out really well. We've had a beer garden set up with a great big tent. There were 4 different breweries there. You had Elementary and Hackensack Brewing, which are our breweries here in Hackensack, and you had Brick City Brewery, and somebody, if you know, remind me of the other one. There was one other one there. That one. Bolero? Bolero. And they seemed to be doing some brisk business. People enjoyed it. Everybody I spoke to that was at the beer garden had a great time. The food trucks were good. I tried a few out. And there were also Hackensack restaurants had stands there as well. I'm trying to think of the, say AKG? The one group that performed?
TKA.
I know.
Anyone from the 90s, TKA.
TKA. See, I'm not a hip-hop guy, but they were good. The TKA was good, and of course, Flay of Soul was there. They were great. And again, Dave mentioned Reverend Jackson's affair on the 26th. It's Saturday. It's during the day, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It's a daytime event at the Venetian. So tickets are available for that. So with that, everybody have a great evening, and see you later. I don't think the Yankees won tonight, so.
They won or they
Oh,
lost?
they didn't win.
No, they're 4-1.
4-1 loss. So, all right.
And obviously, we're going into closed session,
into
so
closed session.
theoretically, the meeting will be open. We'll come out.
Yes.
We'll, of course, announce if there's any other cases discussed before we close the meeting, but there'll be no official action taken.
Thank you. Motion to close the council meeting.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.